The best design is not always the object that attracts your attention. Sometimes it is the frustration you never have to experience. A package opens without a struggle. Your lunch remains neat during the journey. A train seat faces the direction you actually want to travel. Even an ordinary bottle quietly shows you how it should be recycled. None of these details will transform your life in a dramatic way. Your naggins of small obstacles disappear from an ordinary day. Something begins to change. You spend less time forcing, guessing, cleaning, and correcting. Japan is not the only place with thoughtful design, and not every Japanese product works perfectly. But many everyday objects found in Japan reveal one useful principle. Design should not begin with what looks impressive. It should begin with the precise moment when a real person becomes annoyed, uncertain, or uncomfortable. Today, we are examining 8 Japanese designs that can make daily life feel a little smoother. And stay until the final example. It solves a familiar public anxiety before you even open the door. Number 1. Packaging that opens where your hand expects it to. We have all encountered a package that seems determined to remain closed. You find the tiny notch and pull. Nothing happens. You try again with more force. The plastic stretches. Your fingers slip. Then the entire bag tears open at once. The snack is no longer safely contained. Part of it may already be on the table or floor. This is a small failure, but it exposes an important design mistake. The package was created to protect the product. Opening it was treated as the customer's problem. Some Japanese flexible packages approach that moment more carefully. They may use specially prepared edges or microscopic perforations that allow the material to tear by hand from a wider area. Other packages provide a clearly shaped tab that can be found easily by sight or touch. The customer does not need to study the package or apply excessive force. The opening motion feels like the one the hand naturally wants to make. Of course, this feature is not found on every package in Japan. Similar technologies are also used in other countries. What matters is the thinking behind it. Protection and accessibility do not need to be opposing goals. A well-designed object remains secure when it should remain closed. But when it is time to use the object, it cooperates. That simple cooperation can make an ordinary product feel surprisingly intelligent. Number 2. A yogurt lid inspired by a lotus leaf. Open a traditional yogurt container, and some of the yogurt will often remain attached to the foil lid. It is messy, slightly wasteful, and completely familiar. Because the inconvenience seems harmless, most people never imagine that the lid itself could be improved. Japanese food and materials companies did question it. They developed a liquid-repellent lid with a surface inspired by lotus leaves. A lotus leaf does not remain wet in the usual way. Microscopic features on its surface help water gather into droplets and roll away. The yogurt lid applies a related principle. Its treated inner surface makes it more difficult for yogurt to spread out and remain attached. When the lid is peeled back, far less yogurt may be left behind. The result looks almost too clean. But the real achievement is not visual perfection. It is the decision to study an inconvenience that people had stopped noticing. Nature did not provide a finished yogurt lid. It provided a clue. The designers still had to translate that clue into a surface that could be manufactured, sealed, and used safely with food. Thoughtful innovation often begins this way, not by inventing something from nothing, but by paying closer attention to how the natural world has already solved a similar problem. Number 3. Bento dividers that protect the experience of a meal. A packed lunch can taste excellent when it leaves the kitchen, and feel completely different several hours later. Sauce spreads into the rice. Crisp food becomes damp. Colors blend together, and the entire meal begins to look less appealing. Japanese bento boxes often use compartments, small cups, or decorative dividers, known as ba-ran. These dividers are commonly shaped like green grass. Many are made from thin plastic, but reusable dividers and paper alternatives are also available. The object is simple. Its effect is more significant than its size suggests. A divider helps different textures and flavors remain distinct. It also preserves the visual rhythm of the meal. This does not mean Japanese food must always be perfectly arranged. Separation is not necessary for every dish. The useful idea is that organization can protect an experience. A boundary is not always a restriction. Sometimes, it allows each part to remain what it was intended to be. We can apply that principle beyond lunch. A tray inside a drawer, a small container beside the door, or a divider on a shelf can prevent several unrelated objects from becoming one confusing pile. Order feels calming when it reduces the work required later. Number 4. Train seats that adapt to the journey. A train can change direction, but a fixed seat cannot. That may leave some passengers traveling backward. Other passengers may want to sit with family members, but find every seat facing the same way. On some Japanese bullet trains and limited express trains, rows of seats can be rotated. A row may be turned to face the direction of travel. In appropriate circumstances, seats can also be arranged so that a group faces one another. The solution is mechanical rather than futuristic. A release mechanism allows the seat to turn before locking securely into its new position. What makes this feature interesting is its flexibility. The carriage does not assume that one seating arrangement will satisfy every passenger or every route. The furniture can respond when the direction or social situation changes. Naturally, passengers should consider railway rules and the comfort of other travelers before rotating a row. A thoughtful feature still depends on thoughtful use, but the underlying principle remains valuable. When human needs change in predictable ways, the environment does not always need to remain fixed. Sometimes, adaptability is more useful than adding another electronic screen. Number 5. Umbrella solutions placed exactly where the rain ends. An umbrella works well outside. The moment you enter a store, office, or hotel, it becomes a different kind of problem. Water drips onto the floor. Your sleeve becomes wet. Other people may slip. And you must carry a damp umbrella through a clean interior. Many buildings in Japan address this transition directly at the entrance. Depending on the location, you may find an umbrella stand, a locking rack, a water-removing device, or temporary umbrella covers. These solutions are not exclusive to Japan. They also involve different environmental trade-offs. Single-use plastic covers, for example, create additional waste. Some locations therefore use water-removing devices or other reusable alternatives. What deserves attention is the placement. The solution appears at the exact boundary, where an outdoor object becomes an indoor inconvenience. You do not need to walk through the building searching for help. The entrance anticipates what has just happened and provides an immediate next step. This principle can also improve organization inside a home. If clutter repeatedly forms in one location, perhaps the storage solution is too far away from the behavior creating it. The best place for a basket is not always where it looks most attractive. It is often where objects naturally leave your hands. Number 6. Manhole covers that give infrastructure a local identity. Most people walk over a manhole cover without looking down. It performs an essential function, but visually, it is often treated as nothing more than anonymous metal. Many Japanese municipalities have taken a different approach. Their covers may feature regional flowers, historic buildings, landscapes, festivals, or cultural characters. Some are painted in vivid colors. Others express their designs through patterns cast into the metal. Designer manhole covers were promoted partly as a way to improve public awareness of sewer infrastructure. Today, some people travel to photograph different covers. Certain areas also distribute collectible manhole cards that explain the meaning behind each design. This is more than decoration. Public infrastructure is normally noticed only when it fails. By giving an ordinary cover a local identity, the system beneath the street becomes visible enough to inspire curiosity. The cover must still provide strength, traction, and safe access. Beauty does not replace engineering. Instead, the visual layer helps people form a relationship with something they might otherwise ignore. It suggests that public objects do not have to choose between usefulness and character. Even the most practical part of a city can remind residents where they are. Number 7. Bottles designed to be taken apart. Recycling becomes more difficult when a product contains several materials that resist separation. A plastic drink bottle may include the bottle itself, a cap, and a printed label. Collection rules vary between Japanese municipalities. In many locations, residents are asked to separate certain components according to local instructions. That request becomes easier when the packaging cooperates. Many bottle labels include a visible tab or perforated line, allowing the sleeve to be removed without scissors. You pull at the marked point, the label separates. Then, each component can be placed where the local system requires. The important idea is not that a detailed sorting system is automatically perfect. Recycling still requires transportation, processing, energy, and consistent public participation. The design lesson is simpler. If a system asks millions of people to perform a small action, that action should be obvious and physically easy. A confusing instruction creates resistance. A label that peels away cleanly converts the instruction into a simple movement. People are more likely to repeat responsible behavior when the product helps them perform it. Good systems do not depend entirely on motivation. They reduce the effort between intention and action. And now we come to the final example. This one does not simply make an object easier to use. It changes what a person feels before entering a public space. Number 8. A public toilet that removes uncertainty before entry. Public restrooms can create two immediate concerns. Is the facility clean? And is someone already inside? At two public toilets in Tokyo, designed by architect Shigeru Ban, the building itself provides an unusual answer. When the facility is vacant, its colored glass walls are transparent. A person outside can see whether the room is clean and unoccupied. When the door is locked, the glass becomes opaque and provides privacy. The technology is visually dramatic, but the design begins with psychology rather than spectacle. Instead of asking visitors to enter an uncertain space and investigate for themselves, the building provides useful information in advance. It turns visibility into reassurance, and it turns the lock into a clear privacy signal. This is not the design of every public toilet in Japan. It is a specific architectural experiment created as part of the Tokyo Toilet Project. Smart glass also depends on reliable technology and maintenance, but the design reveals